A very good Sunday evening to one and all. On behalf of Inspira Research Association and KCECS College of Engineering and Management, Jalgaon, Maharashtra, once again I welcome our esteemed keynote speaker, esteemed resource person, Professor Dr. Manvinder Singh Pahwa from Central University, Hari Singh Gaur Central University, Madhya Pradesh. We have enjoyed the previous sessions and I hope you all have submitted the assignments also. I have already shared all the assignments with you. So today is the day 4 on the topic Comprehensive Guide to Hypothesis Testing Using AI. So once again, I welcome Professor Manvinder Singh Pahwa sir. And I've already shared the files which Professor Pahwa sir has shared with me. I hope you all have downloaded these Excel files. Pahwa sir, please. Welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you, Raviji, and welcome all of you on this fourth day, which is a very important day because we will be learning the hypothesis testing today and also how to frame the hypothesis. I will try to take you to the depth of the formulas also of the t-test and the ANOVA, which is the agenda of today's workshop, along with the hypothesis testing and a little bit of, you can say, the demographics, or what we call is the various types of means. So let us start the workshop. And I hope you all are equally excited to know and learn about the things. Yeah. Anything you would like to share before I start the workshop? Anything you have done or you have something to say about, please tell me. So we have 4 files also I have shared with you, which will be helpful for us for doing the analysis. So any of you have been doing certain things which you have learned in the last 3 days, or what learning have you did you had in the last 3 days? Can you just if someone can summarize those uh, so that we can proceed further? Yeah, anyone? Yes, you can directly switch on your video and unmute yourself to share your views. Yes, Avneet. Hi.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, tell me.
As the first day, we did the basic of, research methodology about data and what is the difference between research and analysis, what is data analysis, and, the roadmap, towards the 5-day workshop. Then I missed one session because I was traveling on that day. And yesterday, we did some, different commands, how to apply test, or you can say with the, how we can analyze statistical test with the help of ChatGPT, and what are the various, what do you call, commands, or you can say one typical word, it's not coming in my mind, prompt. We use to use ChatGPT for the desired result. And I was trying to write an research paper on stock market, how AI is used in predictive analysis. And I found 2, 3. I didn't get much time today because of Sunday. Everybody was at home, so I was occupied. And so some methods came out, and I tried to, ask ChatGPT to how we can predict the stock price of future stock price of this particular asset. Sorry, this stock. And the restriction was, you can say, the constraint was, ChatGPT has not access to the historical data, which is, which we take out from NSE, BSE website. So that was the restriction. So it was asking me to, fetch the data or provide the basic data to the chat GPT so that it can calculate or use those methods for the predictive analysis. So that's what I have done till now.
Great, great. This is a great thing, which means at least you are utilizing it, utilizing ChatGPT, and the learnings is actually happening. I can see from
Yes,
the
sir.
workshop with the insights which you have done, Amneet.
Very much, sir. Very
Basically,
much.
for that, I hope today's and tomorrow's workshop will also take you up, because tomorrow we will be learning regression, correlation and regression we will be doing. So up
Right.
till now, we have learned up to descriptive statistics, normality. I have shown the normal distribution curves also. The quiz which you have got also makes you familiar with certain insights of the statistics too. So that is again very important. See, you can get the results, equal results from Excel, from SPSS, from R, from Python, from ChatGPT, or from any other tool. But the most important thing is to interpret and to understand what actually is happening inside the data sets, and while some test is applied, what is the thing which actually calculates, and what is the mechanism of calculation. So that is equally important. Otherwise, it will be just like a garbage in and garbage out. We must apply our own minds also in order to get the things. Yes, this advanced technique of Chat GPT will help you in analyzing and writing the analysis also. So you can utilize it in that way. But yes, we have to apply our own minds in order to do the things, because it's always written under Chat GPT that Chat GPT can give you wrong results. It's a disclaimer. So we have to apply it. We have to apply the things which are the outcomes, and we have to see what is to be done, right? Thank you, Amnitya. Anyone else would like to share certain insights, what you have been doing? Yes. Rapti, Manisha ji, no one? So everyone has enjoyed the Sunday without doing anything. Sanbad ji, you were there. Yeah, Sumana
Yes,
madam.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Sanbad ji, what you have done?
Sir, actually, whatever is taught by you in the last few days, actually, I makes a overall note what you taught us. That is in the first day what you did, and in the second day, and in the last day. So in the today morning, actually, from a simple data set, what I have in my laptop, I have just tasted how the data is exported from my laptop in the chat GPT, and if there are some uh, what are the some taste that the chat GPT can suggest, whether I can do that taste or not. I
Okay, very
have
good.
just did this thing, sir. Up to that
Great.
thing I did.
You have actually made ChatGPT work for you, that, okay, this is the database. You tell me what
Yes,
can be
sir.
applied. That's really
Yes,
good.
sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
really good. So you got some results out of it?
Yes, sir. I got some result.
Even what you can add, what otherwise you can do is just
Okay.
ask ChatGPT to write some research questions for you for the data set you are putting inside. Okay. Just try this. You will get
Okay. Okay.
interesting.
Today I will try it, sir. Evening I will
This
try
can
it.
be tried by anyone, because you might be having your own data sets with you, which you might have applied in your PhD, or which you are going to apply for either your students or for your things. So you can always do that. So try to just ask ChatGPT to give you some research questions, some research insights out of that data. On the basis of that, you can always frame a hypothesis and proceed further with this. So these are the things which are really very good. Yeah. Anyone else?
Okay,
Yeah,
sir.
Subhanna madam, you were saying something.
Yes, yes, sir. Nice slides as you shown from the very beginning, and nice recaps are doing. And the application will be tried later on. Now learning all the uh, theories and all the tests as you have shown. Nice sessions.
Great. Rapti?
Sir, I provide some objectives of my study and I ask ChatGPT to uh, provide a good title of my research paper and it yeah and it give me a lot of title from which I can choose and it's
Okay,
a
good, good. So
very
means
good.
now you are getting some desired results which you learned in this workshop.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Yeah, anyone else want to share something? Manisha or anyone else? Yes, Chetna ji.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. थोड़ा जोर से बोलिए.
Sir, I tried KNN method,
हाँ.
but due to having free version of ChatGPT,
Mhm.
I could not get the result because
So
of its limitation.
what you can do is
Yes.
ask ChatGPT to generate a Python code for you for
Okay.
getting this ANN done. Okay.
And through
Yeah,
lab,
ANN afterwards
Jupyter.
you can paste that code in the Jupyter lab, and you will
Okay.
generate certain things, and it will ask you for the file. So at the file name, because it will already be, this code will already be containing some input and the output file indication.
Okay.
So give that input file indication of your file from your database, and you will be able to get the results in your this what you call as Jupyter Lab, particularly for the Python, running the Python code over there.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
that is one of the solution you can go on for.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone, any problem? Yeah, Manisha ma'am.
सॉरी
Namaskar.
सर, हाँ, गुड इवनिंग सर. तो सर आज तो कुछ हो नहीं पाया खास, सो आई कुड नॉट ट्राई एनीथिंग न्यू एक्सेप्ट फॉर रिवाइजिंग व्हाट है, सो बीइंग संडे.
Okay, आज अभी हम जो चीज करने जा रहे हैं, दैट इज रिगार्डिंग योर टी टेस्ट, और हम अनोवा के बारे में पढ़ेंगे भी. मैं आपको थोड़ा
ओके.
इनसाइट भी बताऊंगा इसका. सो
Sure,
स्टार्ट
sure.
करते हैं फिर वर्कशॉप को. राइट.
ओके, थैंक यू.
ओके, एनीवन एल्स? हाँ, शरण जी. हाँ, अनम्यूट कीजिए प्लीज. शरण जी, अनम्यूट कीजिए, आवाज नहीं आ रही आपकी.
Good evening, sir.
हाँ, वेरी गुड इवनिंग. अब बताइए.
Sir, yesterday we have attempted for in a Jupyter lab some
Yeah.
code, but most of the time it's showing errors, sir.
It will show errors if you are having some syntax type of problem in that, because we all are not experts of this. Even you can ask ChatGPT that what is the error in the code which you have generated and what can be corrected. So it will suggest you that. So accordingly, suppose for example there is some comma or some inverted commas mistake, some bracket mistake. So that needs to be. So keep on hitting and trialing the things. So you will definitely get through, because meanwhile, what you will happen, every code which is generated by ChatGPT, it comprises of some hash. In hash, there is the line is written that what the code just beneath the hash is going to do. So try to see whether it is in a proper language or not. Suppose, for example, if you are trying to give input of some file and that file is not present at that place, it is somewhere else. So that will give you an error. Okay, so while we will be trying to get it done, you will definitely get it done. I'm sure about it.
Sir, like if we like attempted with there is error in the syntax and all. In fact, same thing is appearing again and again.
You can ask ChatGPT what is the error in this particular thing. It will answer you. Okay, but it will waste your one prompt also. This is again one thing. But yes, we have to keep on doing, then only we will be able to know and understand the things, what actually happens.
Yes, sir. It was giving when I instructed to write the code of download of the file. It was giving the code as MNT oblique and this one. This was the error, and had to correct that.
Yeah, sometimes what happens, it asks you to download certain libraries. Okay, out of those libraries, try to get your problem solved. So because that's why I asked you to download Jupyter Lab, not the Jupyter Notebook, right? Because once you download the library, you own it. Then afterwards, whatever happens means it will happen with that library itself. Means that library helps out the program code to generate certain things. If the library is not there, it will show the error. Okay. So
No, sir.
accordingly,
No,
yeah.
sir. Actually, not regarding the library. I used it on the Python Jupyter Lab. But the code actually ChatGPT wrote it was MNT oblique this one. So when deleted that prompt MNT, actually it was the path of the file. It
That's
was
what
to
the thing.
correct. Yes.
So path needs to be corrected, na ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I think. Sharanji also was might be having the same problem. If you are giving a wrong path, it will not be able to pick up the file for the analysis. Okay. So if it is error on our part because it's machine, it cannot do it. Okay. Okay, fine.
Sir, our kind request for you, like since right from the beginning of the title of the thesis or article, then you give an example of it, sir, right from the beginning and all. So
Okay,
that would be more better for us to come out with the effective paper, sir.
Okay, you want to just have some title of the papers to be generated. Is that so?
A title as well as like statistical analysis, some examples, sir, like, and the thorough, like a small example of paper, how we can do through the AI, sir.
I'm not able to understand what you're saying.
Like right from the beginning of the title, any example of from your choice, then creation of methodology, then objectives, then rationale of the study, then finally conclusion. A small example, sir.
Fine. What we will do is we will do it tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think there will be some time left. So you please remind me of this.
Fine.
So once let me finish this syllabus, which we have committed to do, and then I will just show you how to do it. Okay. But please tell me, because this is one of the important thing everyone would like to understand and know. So we will do it tomorrow, right?
Fine, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. So today, let me start the workshop itself. Okay. I hope the screen is shared.
Yes, sir.
Let me just make it large for all of you. Okay. So today is a fourth day, and the today's topic mostly will be covering a very important topic of hypothesis testing. And there is one thing remaining. Yesterday, I was not able to explain certain things because even the basics needs a lot of explanation. So we'll try with this various types of central tendencies which we have. So when we talk about central tendencies or the descriptive statistics, this is one of the very important thing to tell others that what exactly most of your data is. So central tendency actually is a representative of the data. For instance, if you are talking about some marks obtained by some of the students, you need to tell what is the most common usual thing is that what is the average marks of any of the class, which we actually try to do. So similarly, if we are talking about some income, we would be interested in understanding the average earning of the people belonging to a country, maybe a society or a company, etc. So a measure of central tendency you can say basically reflects where is the central point of the data. Like a circle has a center. In the same way, the data is also having its own center, which is represented by the average of the data of or the average value of that data. So there are different kinds of averages which I have presented in front of you, and they are known as means. All are known as means. So there are various types of means. You can say arithmetic mean, median, the mode is there, harmonic mean is there. Now these are the various types of the means which are there. Geometric mean, weighted mean. No? So likewise, so unless it is exhaustive, it is not exhaustive, but this list is also, you can even ask ChatGPT that what are the various types of mean. It may give you some more examples. But these are the common types of measures which we talk and which we refer to in any of the textbooks that you would usually require. Within this, it is arithmetic mean and the median that the people often talk and use. Other are lesser used, but means these are also certain things which can be calculated and which make some sense. So let us try to understand the arithmetic mean, or simply which is called mean as such, which is the most commonly reported form of the central tendency. If you have a population of working executives about whom you want to draw some you can say instance that you want to know that what is the average age when they will be retiring. Now, this simple question will also make some other complex understandings depending on your research requirement. So the question is that what is the average age at which the executive retire? Now, to study this, what exactly we will do is we require some data from the executives who have retired. They could be male as well as female. So depending on the focus of your resource, you will pick a small sample from this particular big population of the executor, so that this is your population as such. And so out of the population of the executives, we'll pick a small sample from this population whatsoever you have taken, because there will be various people who will be retiring in certain, you can say, in a certain period of time. So out of this population who are retiring at a certain period of time, we will choose a small sample out of this population. And what should I say means, let me call it as a small sample and just a sample which will perform your calculation, which will replicate the entire thing for the population itself. So sample we are drawing from the population just in order to understand that how the population is. So that is what we are for which we draw the population, and we try to replicate the population with the help of the sample. So let's say that in population you have some number, or you can say you just denote the population mean by capital N, and the sample mean by the small n. Okay, and there are various other things in the population out of which you want to infer. And there are certain you can say certain data which you have extracted out of the population, and these all are the, you can say, the n's in the sample, small n's in the sample. So what do you think the mean will be? How will you calculate the mean? I hope you are able to understand. So there are capital N number of people in the population, out of which we try to take some sample out of it, and we are taking mean. So what does this mean infers? What is the mean over here? Will it be the total number of people in the population divided by means the retiring age of the total number of people in the population divided by number of people in the population? Or do we try to infer that whatever sample we have taken, it is out of that sample itself? What do you think it would be? Any one of you?
So I think we choose the sample from the entire population.
Yes,
And then based on the sample calculation, we will take our decision about the population.
absolutely. Very good. So we are trying to infer the population from the sample itself because we cannot practically do the calculation for the entire population as such. So we have that sample, we have to calculate the arithmetic mean out of that particular sample itself. And we will try to infer that the sample mean is a mean of the population. Okay, so it's not about the arithmetic mean when we are saying it's about the mean of the sample, right? And how to calculate it, we can just see the example just now. We will go with, so we can calculate arithmetic mean with the help of ChatGPT. Okay, so you have 4 files with you. Can you please open the demographics files, the blood pressure demographic file? Is it there with you? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So just take that file. I'm just going for this ChatGPT now. Mhm. Just a moment. So this is the blood pressure demographics on which we will be doing this. Right. I will simply write, see how many in this blood pressure demographics, if I try to open this as such, how many variables are there in this particular file? See, so it's comprised of gender. How many respondents completely total? There are 83. 83 means if we start from second, fine. So weight is given, age is given, and blood pressure is given. So what we can do is we can just try to find the, you can say, average of age and weight, and even the average blood pressure also we can go with, right? So what we will do is we will just try to make ChatGPT yes, give me arithmetic mean of age and age, weight and blood pressure from the attached file. Arithmetic. Okay, so let's see what it gives. The age it is giving 38.41, weight is also it has given. And if you want, you can even generate some insights about the descriptive statistics to be mentioned in my research paper out of the data attached in APA form. See, now it has given me some descriptive statistics, which is not only the mean, but the standard deviation, minimum, quartile, median, third quartile, and maximum also. And descriptive statistics of the formatted in APA style have been generated and displayed. You can review these sites to incorporate into the search paper. Let me know if you need further. So now, if we want to have, please give insights in text format so that can be incorporated in the research paper. So what it will do is it will just make a language so that these can be given in a research paper itself. Now, see, it's doing it for all age, weight. It has given the range also, if you see this. But we do not need median. If we do not need median, we can ignore this. Regenerate. This data error, this error of the internet or net connectivity, is anyone else also getting this? Because I am using a broadband, it should not come. Or otherwise, this is just something poor service by ChatGPT. See, this descriptive statistics is the first most thing which while writing a research paper, we must give insight. Right, then only we should proceed further with the other inferences. Because this actually gives some insights about the data. So this is the 82 participants in total are there, and there are 3 key variables: age, weight, and blood pressure. I think I don't know why it has struck. Yeah, see, now it has given in detail what is to be written about all the 3 variables, and then afterwards interpretation and implication. So data sets age and weight distribution are relatively homogeneous, is indicated by the lower standard deviation. In contrast, higher variability in blood pressure points to significant difference in the participants' cardiovascular health, potentially attributable to underlying demographics or lifestyle factors. Right. So these findings are crucial for understanding the baseline characteristics of the sample and the implication of the subsequent analysis. So such type of things you can generate with your data while you put it in the ChatGPT itself. Right. So this is about how to use demographics and how to use your means in order to have a representation of the data itself. Right. So let us now proceed further. We have already done this. Okay. So proceeding further with this, if we see, next thing is the analyzing the group differences. Now, when we are proceeding further towards our suppose we have two groups or we have three groups. We have to see the differences between these three or two groups. So what can be the various types of group differences which can occur? So we are using ChatGPT for the data analysis purpose, right? So first, let me tell you briefly what the group differences are and whether exactly you need to use group differences for the statistical analysis. So group differences, as the name suggests, is basically the statistical analysis of the differences among the groups, right? It can be two groups or it can be more than two groups. For instance, consider a scenario. For example, there are certain executives in the office, right? They are organizing a training program, and it would like to know whether this training program is really effective or not. And by being really effective, the executive means that whether there would be a significant improvement in the skills of the people who are attending this program, or the participant, those who are attending the program or not. Like, for example, you just take this particular example of our training program itself, means this MDP, FDP done by the Inspira Research Association. So whether the training program is effective or not, this is something which I want to understand, or which someone would like to understand. And if it is not effective, what are the reasons of it being not effective at all? So whether it would be significant improvement in the skills of the people or the participants who are attending the program or not, this is one thing which is of sheer importance, right? So, and the specific number of the people can be maybe 30, 40, or 50 employees in the office, whosoever are attending. So in the different scenario, just you can consider a researcher, right, who figure out what happens to the stress level across the lifespan, right? So means when when the people are in the college, when they are working, and when they are retiring, something like that. That's what we have given a data set also. So the student who is a scholar, he wants to collect the data from three groups. Suppose, for example, college-going students, those who are young, and the professionals, those who are of the middle age group, or the mature people, or you can say the third group, or you can say the retired one. So whose stress level is high, or you can say the easiest or the most relatable example we can just take as a professor who wants to teach using different methods, right? And he wants to figure out which teaching method would be effective for the students. So it can be lecture method, it can be the teaching with a presentation method, or you can say teaching via simple blackboard method. So one wants to look at, in all these cases, your samples are coming in the form of the groups, right? So it appears that one group has gone through a different kind of experience as compared to the other group, right? So one group is having only lecture method, another group is having the presentation method, and the third group is having the simple blackboard teaching method, right? So there are three different methods which are being used in the three different groups. And you wish to figure out which experience is the more bearing repercussion on the outcome that you are measuring. Means, suppose if it is related to the training, or you can say teaching the students, which of these methods is the most effective method of training or teaching. So what exactly you can get from this? That is the case of the group differences. So your group seems to be sort of independent groups, or you can say the dependent variables, you may call it in this moment, right? So, and outcome variable is, of course, the outcome variable or the dependent variable. So, for instance, if you are psychotherapist and if you are treating patients, you would like to know, okay, which of these you can say therapies or therapeutic techniques is best suitable for the patients, whether giving them a general counseling is there, or giving them say psychodynamic psychotherapy, or is a behavioral therapy which is good for them, right? So different kinds of alternate therapies may be there, and you want to give some most effective therapy to your patients, so that they experience the best in a minimum possible time. So analysis of group difference, actually it comes very handy in this kind of scenarios, because you can collect data from the small sample of the individuals who have gone through different group experiences, and then you can calculate whether these groups significantly differ from each other or not. For instance, suppose you want to make a statement about, you can say, the pay differentials between males and females, or young and old people in the industry. So how exactly you accomplish that? Okay. Of course, you can tell that on an average, males are earning this much as compared to the females. But the question is that is this difference present in the population is statistically significant or reliable? So for what that you could require what we call is a t-test, right? So because we are seeing the difference in two. So using these group differences, tests like say t-test, or you can say even ANOVA, paired sample t-test, they can give more power to your statement, and you can present your findings backed by your research data. So in the what is to be done is that these things actually, or you can say, when we are trying to analyze the group differences, then we are actually testing the hypothesis underneath on a certain level of significance. And if we are able to test the hypothesis and we are able to be authentic that to what level of significance our things are correct, or we are right, it will give us more power. Yesterday itself, I was asking about the p-value, right? So p-value is what? P-value is nothing but the level at which you are testing the hypothesis, and you are just able to understand and know that how much confident you are in presenting your results. Okay, so this is what is done. So in the remaining workshop, we will be discussing about the t-test, pair sample t-test, and of course one-way ANOVA, and how actually they can help you in analyzing the group differences using ChatGPT. But before we go with this, we have to see the various types of group differences which are there in the groups. So from this point of view, if we see that the types of group differences, if we try to bifurcate it into certain group differences, then it comes to it can be based on the number of groups, right? So it can be bifurcated into two, whether you have groups less than or equal to two, or you have groups more than equal to 2. So now, while we are calculating, or while we are dealing with that, what statistical test should be applied for a given scenario. So let us think about a group difference test, so that all in all group differences test can be categorized into two parts itself, which has been depicted over here, right? And that can be done depending on the number of groups you choose for the analysis, right? So when you decide about number of groups which can be included, as shown in the figure, it can be because we are seeing the difference, so it has to be at least 2 groups. But here, if you see, I have written 2 or less than 2 or equal to 2. So there is something over here also which I need to explain. Will tell you afterwards why intentionally I have given this particular thing. So let us, for instance, just suppose you are studying about the income difference among the nations, which we have just now discussed. So now, depending on the motivation and the resource which is available to you, there could be two possibilities that you want to compare just two nationalities or with their income. For instance, you want to compare Americans and Indians for their income. And based on that, you want to make a projection about the income difference between Western and the Asian economies. Or if you can manage data collection from more than 2 countries, then you may include America, you can include China, Japan, and other countries from Europe or Africa. And you would like to make your entire sample very representative of the world economy, and if you are able to do that. So in general, for making comparison between the groups, you require at least 2 groups. And when you have 2 groups, then you apply what we call is a independent sample t-test, right? This should be very clear to you till now, that for making a group comparison, right? For making a group comparison, you require at least 2 groups. Therefore, I have written it less than equal to 2 because what happens is that sometimes you try to compare one value with other value. Means suppose one value with the given value, suppose, for example. So I just want to understand whether my class has scored 75% marks or not, or I have been able to achieve a target of suppose 82% or not. So my expectation is one value, and the actual scores or the mean of the class is the another value. So still I am going to compare 2, but here groups is only 1. So this particular thing is not mentioned over here because we are talking about good differences. This is called one sample t-test. Okay. So the one sample t-test we will not be discussing much, because here we are talking about the group differences. That's why we'll be talking only about the group, but that is the intention of writing a group difference as a, less than or equal to 2. Okay. So that is the reason why is less than equal to 2 is given over here. So when you have 2 groups, you have to apply the test from the family of t-test. And this was actually given by one of the statistician. His name is William Josset, who has actually evolved this 2 test. And there are 2 formulations of the t-test, you can say. In fact, this is true for both the groups being less than 2 or more than 2. So either you have group equal to 2 or more than 2. So the group might be correlated groups and might be unrelated. When I say that groups, I usually mean the score of the groups actually. Okay. So for instance, if you are talking about the nations, right? So by groups here, I mean the income of 100 or 200 number of people, whatever you had chosen to study, right? So when we are talking about the nation, so it means that we have just taken certain people from both the nations and we have tried to take out the mean out of it. So how now if you look at this example, whether you are comparing the income across the nationalities, and let's take example of two nationalities, that is American versus Indian nationality. So if a person's part of one group, he is excluded from the other group. So a person who is, or you can say these groups, the person will be mutually exclusive. So once a person is a male, he cannot be a female, right? So a person who is an American cannot be Indian. So in this case, we have to ignore the NRIs. Okay, so these two groups are mutually exclusive, right? So one person cannot be a part of both the group. This is one of the conditions when we are applying the independent sample t-test. So these groups are independent of each other. That's why we say that it is independent of each other, because a person who is belonging to one group cannot belong to other. So the observation of income from group 1 versus group 2 is independent, is not dependent of each other, or it is completely different. And when it is a scenario like this, you apply what we call is independent sample t-test. So in contrast of this, right, in contrast of this independent sample t-test, there can be a scenario in which observations are taken from the same people, means same cases over a period of time. For instance, if you want to study whether a people who migrate from India and go to America for earning, whether there has been a significant improvement in their standard of living or not. So in that case, the same people are being studied, means the annual income over a period of time when they were in India are taken, and while they are going abroad, it is again taken. So what are we going to address, and what is the research problem in this? Can anyone tell me? What is the research problem in case if I am comparing people, those who were in India and now they have gone abroad? So what is the problem, or what is the thing which I want to understand and know? Can anyone tell me? Yes, come on. I hope I am able to make out the question. See, there were some people in India. Now the people in India have gone abroad, okay, and they have started earning over there. So I want to see whether there is an increase in the income or not. What is my research problem over here? Can anyone tell me? Yes, please. Has anyone raised the hand? I cannot see the chat box. Please don't write it in the chat box, because the presentation is going on the full screen. Yeah. You can unmute and you can say, open your video. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Repti, you want to say something? But you're not audible. Unmute yourself. Am I audible there? Manisha ji, can you unmute yourself? Okay. Can you do it now?
Yes, sir. Now we can unmute ourselves.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now we
Yes.
can.
Yes,
So
sir.
we can say there is a significant difference in the income levels once people move to America.
So one thing has happened. What is that? Means this, see why I am taking this as such, because this will help you in framing your hypothesis correctly. Okay. So what is the event? Event is migration.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it?
Before and after, when before the case is in India, this is the case before, and later on the case when it migrates to America, the difference of these two.
So difference in income actually leads to what? So difference in income actually leads to standard of living,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So what will be my research problem? See, now two things have come up. One is your migration, and second is your standard of living, right? So how will I frame my hypothesis?
Sir, I think I have to make sample of two. That is the student who go abroad and the
We are
student
not
who
talking
remains
about
in
students
India.
over here. We are talking about the residents, those who have migrated. May they be
Yeah.
student or may they be whatsoever. But if
Whether
we
there
talk
is any
about student, they are not
significant
having any
difference.
income. So we are not talking about student at all. Okay.
Not student, but
Yeah.
the people who already migrated.
Yes.
And that is there any significant difference between these two groups regarding the increase in their standard of living and or income they earned? Mean difference between these two groups.
Okay. So can I say like this? Migration is having a significant impact on the income of the people. If this is my hypothesis, I think this will be a correct hypothesis. Or in other words, in a simpler way, you can write that there is no significant difference between the people, those who have migrated before, there is no significant difference in the standard of living of the people before and after migration. This is a correct hypothesis. I hope you all will be agreeing with me.
Yes, sir.
What is the
Yes, sir.
hypothesis? Yeah, yes, Neeluji. Want to say something? Neelu madam?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Please tell.
Sir, we can also write that the effect of migration on the standard of living of people
No,
before
you
and
cannot
after.
write like that. No, you cannot write. Let me tell you why you cannot write like this. Is what happens when we frame the hypothesis. If you are seeing the impact, now it means you are using regression. Okay. So one thing is impacting other. So when we say like this, so it happens when we write the hypothesis for regression. But here we are not writing hypothesis for regression. What we have to do is we have to just see the difference between the two groups. Means it is actually difference between the same group. Before
Yes,
and
sir.
after.
Before
Yes,
and after.
yes. Actually, this is the null hypothesis that there is no significant difference when in India and
Before and
when in
after
America.
migration.
Yes, before and
you
after.
have to.
Yes, this
These
is
words, while you are using the paired sample t-test, you have to use, sometimes you have to use these words before and after. Before training, after training. Before the session, after the session. So what do you think? Would there be any significant difference in the level of understanding of artificial intelligence for research methodology before having this class and after having this class? Okay, so this workshop before and after study, if we want to do particularly for the participants, this can be a paired sample t-test. Okay, so framing of hypothesis itself is a big task. I intentionally took this point over here. Now in future, we are going with certain tests. I will ask all of you to just frame the hypothesis and then we will be proceeding further, right? Okay. So what we are going to do is over here is that, so we try to find out some of those migrants who visited the country sometimes back and would like to ask them their existing income at that time. Okay, so that might not be very accurate because they may be having, you can say it based on the memory. But suppose you take income and then you ask them that the current income after like say 5-6 years, they stay in the country. And if you find out, yes, there is a significant jump or increase in the income over a period of time of these migrants, then you are in position to say that yes, migration did contribute in their improvement in their standard of living, right? So in this scenario, you develop a version of t-test, which is known as paired sample t-test. Now it is applied only when the group scores being correlated, right? Because the previous and the afterwards, the people are same, right? So it is dependent, right? So that's why it is called dependent sample t-test, or you can say paired sample t-test. Then there is dependence between the pairs, right? So it happens usually when the case IDs, it means your participants are repeated across the situation or across or you can say across the measurements, right? But if your participants are independent, so in that case, you may go for independent sample t-test. But in case your participants are being repeated across different measures or different measurements situations, then you can go for the paired sample t-test. So just now to clarify, let me ask you a question, right? Suppose an early age researcher wants to find out there's any pay disparity between men and the women, right? Let us take it very, very simple. So is there any pay disparity between men and women in, suppose, in education sector, right? So this sector is often debatable because of the work-life balance also and other things also. But suppose you want to test it based on the data, how exactly you will address this question? Or you can take a number of how will you do this, means anyone. Now it is a question of what we are doing now, that we are checking the disparities of income between male and female. What type of test it is? Anyone? Yes, what type of test?
Independent sample t-test.
Why so? Why so?
Because there are
Exclusive
two.
to each other.
Okay, because the things are independent of each other. And how we can say they are independent of each other?
Because a man cannot be a female and a female cannot be a
Exactly. So this is big because both, if we say in one line, we would say both are mutually exclusive, right? One person can be there in one group and another one cannot be there in the another group. And suppose you get 60 males and 40 females in your study, right? Now data is with you. Which statistical test will you employ? You just not told.
Independent sample
Yes, independent sample
t-test.
right? Now in t-test, there are two scenarios, dependent sample and paired sample t-test. So you are taking observation from males and females, which are again mutually exclusive categories. So no case ID, no participant is being repeatedly observed. And their income scores are being repeatedly taken. So that's why for this query, independent sample t-test is appropriate test. But suppose your second hypothesis is that whether after working some year in maybe in education sector or IT sector, suppose women also get similar perks, pay, promotion, groups. Now everything they are getting similar to that of the males. So in that case, you will take the group of females who agree to participate in the study and you will observe their income again, say after 1 year or 2 years. So what type of test it would be?
dependent.
It would be, dependent, or it would be paired sample,
Paired.
right? So in this case, since female participants are being repeatedly observed, why it is so? Because they are repeatedly observed. That's why we are taking it as a paired sample t-test. And how to use this in ChatGPT, we will discuss subsequently, right? Now, second situation is that when the group size is more than 2, right? Now, we are talking about this situation. Means when till now what we have studied is about this situation. that group size is less than 2. And now we are studying about this situation that if the group size is more than 2, and if there are more than 2 groups, for example, if it is a question of income, you want to compare males, females, and suppose transgenders, and the people who do not actually specify their income, or people who do not specify their gender whatsoever. So suppose you have more than 2 groups to compare. In that case, for the same question about the salary, which test will you apply? Now we are talking about more than 2 groups.
ANOVA
ANOVA.
analysis.
What we will apply? ANOVA, right?
ANOVA.
Similarly, when you are comparing more than 2 nationalities about their income, whatever outcome variable you have in mind, you will employ again ANOVA itself. And whenever there are more than 2 repeated groups, you employ repeated measure ANOVA, right? The other one, which is contemporary of paired sample t-test in case of 2. Okay. So just to quickly summarize this entire flow chart, I would say the analysis of group difference actually requires 2 groups or more than 2 groups. If there are 2 groups and if groups are independent, you go for independent sample t-test. And if there are 2 groups but the groups are related and the scores are dependent, it means you used paired sample t-test. So when there are more than 2 groups for independent situation or dependent groups, you go for one-way ANOVA, which stands for, what does ANOVA means? Anyone?
Analysis of variance.
Very good. Analysis of variance. And when more than 2 groups are repeatedly observed for some score or a period of time, you wish to see whether these scores are significantly different from each other or not, or statistically different from each other or not, you go for repeated measure ANOVA. Okay. So we will use this independent sample t-test, paired sample t-test, and one-way ANOVA for the time being for demonstration. Okay. So we will be proceeding further using these things in ChatGPT. I hope you are able to make out the things. I think the things are very, very clear out of this particular chart, which is given over here to you. Is there any doubt or do you have any question? Anyone?
Sorry, sir. Sir, can you just please explain with an example the dependent, because independent is clear, paired is clear.
Okay.
Dependent sample would be what?
Dependent?
Are we taking the same group and then, or it is the current observation is dependent on the previous
Okay.
observation?
Okay, yeah, because yes, the current observation is dependent on the previous observation. That's why we call it as a dependent sample t-test, or you can say the paired sample, because we are taking pairs. Pair is of what pair means? The same things are on the 2 sides, and what is in between is the test. Suppose, for example, I just want to understand whether my training program was successful or not. So what I will do is I will take the test of the people before the training program, and will take the test of the people after the training program. Now the same people will be there.
Okay, so another name. Sorry.
Yeah,
so another name for paired is dependent. I mean, we can also call it.
You can say, but it is not normally written. Actually, other test is independent sample t-test, where there is no dependency amongst the 2 groups. So if it is independent, so we call this sometimes loosely as a dependent sample t-test, but it is actually called paired sample t-test.
Okay.
But the thing is that it is dependent because what the thing is, it depends on what? The scores of both the groups depends on what? The scores of both the group depends on the training in between, the test in between, the treatment in between. Suppose, for example, I have given stress. I will be taking this. If you see this, you have one stress level data with you, right? Mm-hmm. So stress level data itself, when you would see that not stress level data. This is typing test data. Typing test data you are having. So if you open the typing test data, you will see whether there is a significant difference. The hypothesis will be the significant difference between the scores, the typing score before and typing score after, in between is the typing training. So has the score significantly improved after the typing training or not? Or if I have given some treatment to some of my patients, so is the treatment effective or not? So that is something which I have to study pre and post type of thing. So whenever we do pre and post type of study, then we always use paired sample data. I hope, Manisha ji, it is clear to you now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it's
So,
clear.
sir, if the case is so that not for the case of same group before and after, then not exclusive, then this can be done. This can be called as paired or dependent
No, no,
sample.
no, no. Two conditions are there. See, one is that the respondents before and after must be same. Okay. And second condition is that there has to be some test in between. So these are the two things which are there in order to apply the paired sample t-test. So if the respondents are different, you cannot apply paired sample t-test in that case. Or it will be illogical also rather. Okay.
Then which test to be done in that case?
So you tell me the situation, for example, I will tell you the test.
Two groups are there, not the same exactly, but some common members are there, not completely exclusive.
No, you cannot apply any test over here, because what the thing is, it will be illogical to test those people, those who are, suppose, for example, some people have not got any training. So should I ask them to just appear for the, or should I just take their data also, because they have not undergone any training? So I can only apply paired sample t-test when something treatment has been done in between. So if a group is mix of those people, partially training has happened, partially not has happened. So I cannot test those people as such.
Okay, that is not comparable enough. Okay.
Absolutely. Or
Fine.
otherwise, even if you want, you can have a association test, right? That
Yes.
sometimes you want to just, have two groups. One undergone training, other undergone not undergone training. One male and female. Now you have four. You can say you have the matrix of four. Now you want to see the association between them. Then you can always use chi-square test, but not this parametric test at all. Because the parameters of both the population is not same at all. That's why they are not comparable.
Okay,
Right?
thank
Yeah,
you.
Chetan, you have something to ask, please?
Yes, sir. If I want to compare before merger and after merger profits of some banks, then can it be applied?
Yes,
Paired
of
it
course
is.
it can be applied.
But in that case, before merger only one company was there, but after merger there are two companies. So how can I
Hardly matters,
compare?
because even after merger there are two companies. No, after merger there will be one company. You are saying
Yes,
wrong.
sir. Yes, sir. 1 and 2. Yes, sir. Previously, like SBI merger, if I talk about that, so SBI now after merger, it includes all those banks, those who were previously independent.
Okay.
But before merger, there was only few banks in SBI.
I understood your problem. Let me
Yes,
address
sir.
it.
Yes, sir.
Before the merger, there were 7, 8 state
Yes.
banks, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
They
sir.
all have merged together in order to go with SBI, right? So previously, SBI itself was existing as a State Bank of India, and along with its subsidiaries in the banking sector, what little, because I've done my PhD in banking itself.
Okay.
So so SBI along with its subsidiaries was there, but SBI itself was there. There was existing. It was existing. It is existing even after the merger, right? So what you can do is, because after merger, all the banks' assets and liabilities are merged together, right? So after merger, you can take you have to standardize both the things, right? So you cannot compare the income. You have to compare the ratios of the income, or you have to compare the ratios of the assets or the liabilities, or better is to compare, don't go for these things. If you really want to compare the what you call is
Sir, I tried to do it on Camel
Yeah,
framework.
camel model is okay. Camel model is can be done, but what can be done over here is the solvency. Yes, try to compare the solvency before and after. Is the company or is the merge equally solvent before or after? Apply Basel 3.
Okay.
Okay, go for Basel 3 and try to compare post and pre and post merger. And do not take only SBI. Take some other banks also who have gone for merger pre and post. Now, what is the hypothesis over here? What you want to study? What hypothesis will you make, Chetna ji?
Sir, difference between profits pre and post
No,
merger.
it is not difference between the profits. You are actually checking that pre and post merger is actually resulting in increasing the solvency ratio or not. Because when we are talking about Basel norms, then we talk about something about the solvency.
Yes, yes.
Right? So profits is okay. Because profits, let me tell you, profit is something which is short term. Right? What is long term is the solvency.
Solvency.
So your things are to check the solvency. That what actually makes and why they have merged together. What was the reason of merger? If you see the history, the reason of merger have been these all banks who have merged with SBI, they were becoming insolvent. Their NPAs were very high. That's why they have merged together. Okay, the same is the case of other banks also. Take the example of the Bank of Rajasthan. It has merged with the ICICI Bank. It was a state-owned bank. Bank of Rajasthan was a bank from, it was a government of Rajasthan bank. So it has to merge with ICICI Bank because it was also losing its assets. Okay, so this is the thing. But good that you have asked, and I hope I have satisfied you, madam.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. So let us now proceed further with the things. Now let me tell you, there are certain assumptions. We just talked about non-parametric parametric test, taking the example of this what you call is chi-square. I've just given you the example of chi-square where you can check the association. Just now, Sumana ji asked the question. So now, what are the assumptions of the parametric test as such when we are talking about the parameters, right? So when you are when you do any statistical analysis, you usually apply a statistical test. For instance, for this demonstration, we talked about t-test and ANOVA, which are the test of the group differences, right? So all the statistical tests have their assumptions. So assumption means there are certain conditions that need to be fulfilled for their results to be valid, right? So their conclusions or the conclusions drawn out of the applications to be valid. So these are known as the assumptions of the test as such. And all the statistical tests, if we have to categorize them, it can be categorized into two categories. One we call the test which fulfills certain assumptions, means to be true. They require certain assumptions to be fulfilled, and they are known as parametric test. Or while the second category of tests are those statistical tests which are all in which the assumptions are not fulfilled, or you can say they are assumption-free type of thing, right? So we can call them as assumption-free test, or you can say non-parametric test. So all in all the statistical tests can be categorized into two, into parametric test versus non-parametric test, right? And so far you have understood that by parametric we mean that they require certain assumption to be fulfilled, while non-parametric tests do not require much assumption. So it is not that they do not require any assumption at all. It is not like that, right? So they are not completely assumption free, but certain assumptions can be violated, right? Like normality, or you can say the randomness. So they are not strict in their denominator as the parametric tests are. So there's there is the idea behind the parametric and non-parametric test, but assumptions of what? We have been repeatedly saying that they must fulfill certain assumption, but assumption regarding what? So for instance, when you imagine a person who will work as an engineer, at least you assume that he must be having some engineering degree. So if not degree, he must be having some sufficient engineering experience. If he or she is an engineer, and if you believe that the degree is not really required to be good engineer, but even that in that case, you need to supplement it with the good amount of experience, right? So assumptions are everywhere. So here we are talking about the assumption about experience or qualification when we talk about the parametric and non-parametric test and their assumption. So assumption basically pretend to what we call the parameters of these two tests. Okay. And there are two popular parameters which have a say in every assumption, which is about mean score and the standard deviation of the score. Now see, these are the two things, the mean score and the standard deviation. And when we say parameters are the things which actually represent the population. Okay. So when the population is having certain parameters, and we assume that the sample will also be having such parameters, right? The same parameters what population is having. So actually we are applying the test on the samples, not on the population, and we try to infer the population with the help of the samples. And if we assume that the sample is also as good as that of the population, we have to assume that sample is also normal, it is also homogeneous in variance, it is also the sample has been taken randomly from the population, right? And these are the assumptions which we have to be there. Okay, so there is a catch. When you do research or analysis, you collect a small sample which you draw from the population and you do all your calculations and analysis based on the sample. But you wish to make a judgment about not the sample but the population. So the sample mean and the sample statistics or the sample statistics simply are not your parameters. Parameter means the population statistics. That's what I was mentioning just now. So the population mean is a parameter, a population standard deviation is a parameter. So for instance, when you were studying comparing the salary of Americans and Indians, you know very well that you cannot study the entire America and entire Indian population. So we collect the data from 200, 300 participants from both the countries. So in all, you have sample data, sample characteristics, sample stats like sample mean, sample standard deviation, but based on the statistical techniques and the algorithm which we are using or which we use for a sample mean, you can make a fair guess judgment and predict that this would be the possible range of your population mean. So the beauty of statistics is that there is a probabilistic science, and based on the data that you have in your hand, you are in a position to make certain prediction about the border sample can be there. Okay, and we call if not entire population, but the sample at least is having a characteristic of the population. And this is possible only when your population parameters, for example, population mean, population standard deviation, fulfill certain assumptions, right? So for instance, assumptions of normality distribution. So if you wish to apply a t-test to compare the income of suppose Americans and the Japanese and or the Americans and the Indians or Americans and the Europeans. So an assumption would be the income of Americans, Indians are normally distributed. And that's why we have taken the random sample. And they follow the bell-shaped curve in their respective populations. Similarly, on the other hypothesis of homogeneity of variance is there. Now, the term homogeneity is is fairly simple. It means homogeneous or homogeneously similar. So if you again take 2 or 3 samples, 2 or more samples, or so, there would be some variability within the samples. That what I talked about yesterday, that it is called standard error, right? Someone would have a high income, some may have a moderate, or some may people be having a lower income. So variability is fine. In fact, variability is welcome. Okay, so variability is the foundation of the good statistics, because if the things do not vary, we would not be studying statistics today. Had everything been simple and same, we would never be having such type of thing. But overall distribution of variance in these 2 samples should be similar. So that is what is required. So these groups must be homogeneous as far as their distribution of standard deviation or the variance is there. Okay. So that's your hypothesis about the homogeneity and the variance. So the last 2 hypotheses are fairly under control of the researcher. That is the randomness and the independence. So if the researcher is careful, he can manage to ensure these 2 things, that is the randomness and the independence also. So you have to make sure that you have collected your data using some probability sampling method, not convenience sampling method or any non-probability sampling methodology, because that renders your data unsuitable for using the parametric test. And practicing randomness using experimental design is a good way of bringing the randomization in your observation. And finally, independence of sample. So these samples must be independent of each other. There is no way the income or in sample or response of one group should affect the response of the another group. So that it is again a desired assumption of a parametric test. So these are 4 generic assumptions, or you can say general assumptions, that you should always keep in mind, that the parametric test is like, say, t-test or ANOVA must fulfill these assumptions. Finally, you can ask me what if these assumptions are violated, and they are often violated also. So in that case, we have some other test that we call, you can say, or we have some statistical prescription that we can use to improvise the assumption of the violation scenario in our sample. But overall, you should report it in your writing. And this has been the scenario that I have, there is some violation, and accordingly, but still I'm using the parametric test. So maybe assumption of normality of these is violated, or groups were not homogeneous, or even for convenience non-probability sampling method, right? So, and despite of all the practical side, you see that the people take good amount of liberty, right? Even whenever these assumptions are violated, despite that, if the sample size is sufficiently large, they use parametric tests like ANOVA or the t-test. So practically saying that if you increase the sample size and you keep on increasing the sample size, the sample will resume the population itself. So that's why increasing the sample size sometimes, even in case if the assumptions are violated, we still use the parametric test, but it must be reported in your thesis or the paper. So at the time, at the same time, you should try to keep your sample size large as possible, right? So that's why the large sample size always actually try to replicate with the population as such. That's why always the large sample size is always you can say appreciated, right? So let us now understand the independent sample t-test. You can just see the formula for an independent sample t-test over here. Yeah, any question till now, or if you have any doubts regarding the assumptions, I can make it clear. Yeah,
Sir, one question.
Yeah.
What percentage of total population is called large?
Samples are not large from the point of view of population percentage as such. If you see, you know what is Chetna ji, I think you are doing research in finance.
No, sir, I have completed my research. I am a PhD holder.
Okay,
I
okay.
did my research in organization behavior.
Okay, you
But
have been OB, fine.
yes,
But you have talked more about banks and all that. That's why I was.
sir, these days I am putting my efforts on finance, research papers and all.
No issues. And even if you are putting your efforts in finances, let me tell you one thing. What is the how many shares are there, or what is the stock size in Sensex? You know this?
Yes, sir.
In
Pardon?
Sensex, what is the stock size? Stock size is 30.
Yes, sir. 30.
Well, there are 30.
BSc.
Yeah,
BSc.
BSc. Right? So Sensex is BSc only, no?
Yeah.
So it's 30. So why 30? Because as soon as you come to 30, it is considered to be a large sample. Okay. So there is no such type of assumption that how much percentage of your population will be treated as a sample. Yeah. But yes, now the question is the more important question is, what should be your sample size? I think you want to ask this.
Yes, yes.
Let me tell you, the sample size actually completely depends on the various, you can say, the test you are going to apply. Getting my point? So suppose you are going with factor analysis. So the thumb rule says that number of questions you ask multiplied by 10. Suppose I am having 15 questions in my data set in which I want to apply factor analysis. So I must go for at least 150 sample size. That's the thumb rule. Or otherwise, you might have heard about what we call is a magic figure of 386.
386, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sample size.
That is the minimum sample size one must have, which actually is said to replicate the population as such. But if we are going with parametric tests, right, and we are going with what we call is probabilistic sampling, then there is a formula. You can always calculate sample size with the help of that. Okay, but probabilistic sampling is not always possible in social sciences. Suppose I want to survey the people, those who are having ATMs of any bank. What I will do? I have to go for convenience sampling. Or I have to go for judgmental sampling, at least asking those people who are having ATMs and they are using it. Okay. So in that case, I do not have, because population is infinite.
Yeah.
In that case, I have no option other than going with the convenience and increasing the sample size to large enough itself so that it replicates at least some population. Okay, so that is the thing.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So let's now talk about, you can say, the independent sample t-test. Now we have seen the fundamentals that we require to approach our statistical test group of differences. So let's begin with our first test, which is the independent sample t-test. Let us look at the formula of the this t-test itself, right? Just look at the formula of the t-test, because that will also help you in reminding yourself always what is going inside the statistical processes, or in the mind of the ChatGPT whenever it actually processes the thing. So whether ChatGPT is giving you a good output or not, or writing the codes in consonance with the formula or not, it's again important. And it will always be a good habit to look into what ChatGPT is doing, what code it is writing, to find the hint, whatever we are discussing, right? So, for instance, when ChatGPT calculates the details, try to figure out whether the ChatGPT is using means of the difference group donated by, suppose, X1 bar or X2 bar, you can say, right? So X1 bar and X2 bar are that. So that will help you in building more confidence with the statistics. So the formula of t-test is fairly simple if you see it. So the t-test is nothing but the ratio between the group differences, right? It's a ratio between the group differences. In the numerator, and the variation within the group differences in the denominator. This is the ratio between the group differences in the numerator. Is that we just want to see what is the difference in the means of the two groups, right, in the numerator itself, and what is the variation in the denominator as such. So you can see that in numerator we have written x1 bar minus x2 bar, where x1 and x2 are simply the sample means of the group. Okay. What are the group? Group 1 and group 2 respectively. So whatever groups you take, they are labeled as 1 and 2. Okay, because we cannot take more than 2 over here because it's a t-test. While in the denominator, if you have symbols like say small s n1 and n2 and n1 and n2 are easier to understand. You must be guessing that they represent the number of observation in group 1 versus group 2. You are very correct. You are right. So what is this S square? So S square refers to the pooled sample variance, right? This S square, it is actually the pooled sample variance. Since you are using two samples, so the joint combined pooled sample variance is given by the formula of S square, which is nothing but n1 minus 1 multiplied by S1 square, means variance of the first sample variance, from where you will get from the get it from the standard deviation. And from where you will get the standard deviation, you will get it from the scores. Okay. So you put everything in the pooled sample variance formula. So this is helpful because it also gives you a pooled sample variance formula. In many graduate courses, the students are required to calculate the pooled sample variance, right? So this is already given. So this is given in various, you can say, in the books also. So this is what actually is, and now this, if you have to, you can easily calculate the pool sample variance, which is n minus 1 multiplied by S1 square plus n2 minus 1 multiplied by S2 square divided by n1 plus n2 minus 2, which is nothing but the degree of freedom, right? So number of other reasons in which you can say this in each of the group minus 1 is there, right? So n1 minus 1 plus n2 minus 1, so that turns out to be n1 plus n2 minus 2. So this is your simple formula for independent sample t-test, and I hope you understand it clearly, right? I think this is clear to everyone, that how come the things have come up. Okay, so it is very easy and very important to understand this. That's why I have made some extra efforts in order to make this slide, in order to make you understand. Otherwise, just chat GPT will not be actually doing the things. Now let us understand our data. Okay, so what data you have? I have given you one data, particularly depression treatment data, if you see. So just open that depression treatment data in your computer and try to understand the things. So before we proceed with the data analysis, it is better to understand the data set. Because we have to formulate the hypothesis also on the basis of that. So if you see, look at the data if you have opened it. So we have three variables in the data, and we have group or grouping variable, and then we have the depression scores, and then we have have a gender of the participants, which is recorded. And if you look at the grouping variable, we have two groups, which is named as placebo and treatment. Can you see that? Can you see? We have two groups over here. One is placebo and other is, just scroll down the data.
We can see only 0 and 1. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't.
0 and 1 is just okay. Just see the sheet 1.
Okay, sheet 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you see it now?
Yes, sir. Now can see.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, what the thing is, because when we are doing some analysis using any of the softwares, we have to convert the text into numbers, even if you are using SPSS. So the same things has to be done. So it is always good to have it like that. Okay. So I have done it for this, but for next I have not done it because I have just directly and ChatGPT can take direct scores also. Means if you need not to convert the text into numbers, but means for the sake of this I have done it. Okay. So just in order to make you understand. So just look at the grouping variable. So we have two groups. One is placebo and other is treatment, I was telling you. So it seems that we have data of, can you see how much it is? It is, I think, 80 participants are there, or 80 respondents, or 80, you can say, cases are there. So first row is variable name. So that's why it is coming to 81. Right? In order total 80 is there. We have 40 people, the first 40 belonging to the placebo group and remaining 40 belonging to the treatment group. So it means first 40 are not given any treatment at all. So they were just given a treatment that we call placebo, means it is zero treatment. Okay. And the second group of the people will give a actual treatment, which is the actual, you can say, psychodynamic psychotherapy, or you can say behavioral therapy, or whatever means therapy we have given. So means ultimately they are subject to some one or the other treatment. And the depression scores of the subjects have been measured on a depression inventory, where 20 is the maximum score. Can you see that? So 20 is the maximum score. So for instance, some person is having the placebo, he has reported the maximum level of depression, that is 20. Okay. See, person in the placebo is having this, right? And then we have a gender data also. Now, based on this data, what hypothesis will you formulate? Can you tell me? What hypothesis can be formulated on the basis of this data? One.
Which is more whether the rate in male or female this type
Okay.
depression.
Fine. Okay. Can we apply ANOVA over here?
No, sir.
Why so?
Only two groups are there.
Yes, sir.
Placebo
Who said?
and one more.
You're not opening your video. I'm not able to see.
Yes, sir.
Who was saying that? Yeah.
Sir, placebo and one more group is
Yes. So you have
treatment.
only two groups, so you cannot apply ANOVA. Right?
Yes.
And what is the outcome variable? That is depression.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Depression. Yes.
And whether we have applied the therapy or not, or whether we can go with the male, we can compare the males and females also. And
we can compare on the basis of gender.
Yeah.
That will be another hypothesis.
Yes, that can always be done. So on the basis of gender also you can see.
Compare
Okay, and
the
even you can
depression.
go for a cross tabulation if you are applying chi-square or something alike, right? So if you see particularly, there are double digits when the placebo is there. Can you see that? And it's a quite big number. Just count how many double digits are there in placebos. Double digit depression score. How many are there in how many double digits are there in depression score? And how many are there? Sorry, how many double digit depression score is there in placebo? And how many are there in your what you call is your treatment? Just see this.
That will
More
calculate
details.
itself. Yes.
Yes. So can you see that means the data itself shows us that in placebos there are means there is a higher depression, and in while treatment there is a low depression. Okay, what will be the hypothesis? Can anyone frame the hypothesis?
The treatment helps in reducing the depression among the
Excellent,
respondents.
excellent. And if I want to write it in the form of significant difference, what I will write?
So the treatment makes a significant difference in the depression levels of the patient, the respondents.
Please tell me what type of test it is. Is it an independent sample t-test or a paired sample t-test?
Independent.
Why so? You are talking about
Oh, no,
treatment.
sorry. Yes.
Paired,
Yes.
sir.
No. You please stick on one thing. Don't get confused. Don't
No,
get
these are two
confused.
independent. These are independent because
Absolutely.
one
This
group is
yeah,
given.
just in order to confuse you, I asked that there is a treatment. But here, please try to understand both the groups are different. Both the
Different.
groups are independent of each other. On one group, we have treated, and another group, I have not treated. I have given just a placebo. Try to
Correct.
understand.
Correct, sir.
Okay, so this actually is confusing. That's why I took this particular example, so that the doubts must be very, very clear, right? So what is the second hypothesis? This is the one hypothesis, okay? What can be the second hypothesis? Can you make it on the basis of gender?
Yes, it impacts the females more as compared to the males. If I mean,
If you are saying
randomly, if I
this will be we are actually going towards single-tailed, so we will not make it complicated.
okay.
We will say there is no significant difference between across the genders for number one, the placebos, and number two, the treatments. So we can have two hypotheses for genders over here. One is for treatment and other is for, because gender is equally present in both the placebos and in other in the treatment also, right? So likewise, we will try to go with it. Okay. So let us perform the independent sample t-test. Okay. Let me just take you over there for let us do it. Okay. So I'm just asking ChatGPT. Yeah. So data is with me. Yeah. Yes. So the data particularly for this was the depression test, right? So I will upload that data over here. Depression independent sample t-test data. Okay. And I would ask, just let me ask ChatGPT itself that what it generalizes. Okay. So if I ask ChatGPT that what it can infer out of the data itself, let me just go with that. Okay. So I will say calculate suitable statistical test to analyze whether groups labeled as 0, that is placebo, placebo, PLAC, placebo, and 1, that is, you can say treatment differ significantly in their scores. Or is the treatment effective? This I would like to say. Okay. Analyze. Fine. Okay, showing T statistic independent sample T test result as follows. Right? T statistics is 4.14 and P value is given. Interpretation it has given. Okay, since the P value is less than the commonly used significance level 0.05, there is a statistically there is statistically significant difference in the depression scores between the placebo group and the treatment group. Now, in conclusion, it has also written the treatment appears to be effective in reducing the depression scores when compared to the placebo. You may wish to report the findings with the confidence intervals or effect size for a more comprehensive analysis. Let me know if you would like further assistance on this. So what is the effect value? Can you visualize the group score differences? That is also been asked. So we can ask it to just go with the group score differences. It is actually again giving me. So what I want is I would like to go with see the group differences. Let us see what it does further. Now see, it has made a chart for this, the group score differences between. And this is a box plot which represents this. Okay. So even I can ask, give me an APA style table, because it has not reported in table of the above analysis based on t-test. Now see, this says it has given the t-test. The mean has been reported, standard deviation has been reported, and t statistics has been reported, along with the p-value. Right? You can even include the p-value manually by in your data Excel file reporting this. Right? So now I want it to generate. Give me APA style write-up for the above to be reported in a research paper. So this is the write-up. How you can report is it's directly into the in your paper itself, along with the discussion. Right? Okay, so this is how we perform this independent sample t-test and report the same in our research paper as such. Okay, so this is a journal ready, you can say, type of output which you can get from this ChatGPT itself. Okay, so this is how we have performed this test as such. Okay, now another is your paired sample t-test, right? So let us just look at the paired sample t-test. Paired sample t-test is used, as the name suggests, when you want to study whether the significant difference exists between the two pairs of the observations. For instances, just look at the data set which I have given you, particularly regarding the paired sample t-test. It is a typing test data, right? So it is having about 50 participants who actually underwent the typing speed enhancement training program. Okay. So before they started the training, you can see there is their initial typing speed. Some are very good, some are below average, and some have poor typing speed. And after training program of few months, this is the new typing speed of the participants which you are having. Okay. And you can see that you can see these observations which are coming up in the format of the pairs. So you can just have a look of that how much typing speed they were having. So you can see there is a significant improvement in the typing speed, and means before and after the training, it has reached to 198 also in some of the things. Just have a look of this complete scores. Okay. So there is the same people have been exposed to this particular training, and what we can apply over here is the you can say the paired sample t-test as such. Now, what can be the hypothesis particularly for the paired sample t-test as such, right? So generally, if we see, so before we proceed with the calculation of the paired sample t-test, we should formulate the hypothesis, and we have practiced it just now. So out of this data, what hypothesis do you formulate? The data is in front of you. Just try to see what hypothesis can you formulate. So this data can consist of a result of the typing speed training test by 50 participants, right? Who underwent to a typing speed enhancement training program, and this is their typing speed before the training program, which is given in one column, and in another column, it is the typing speed of after the training program is given. So what can be the hypothesis? So how will you formulate the hypothesis? What can be the null hypothesis? Yes, anyone?
The null hypothesis is the typing speed after training is not high.
Just sincerely frame it, madam.
The training speed enhancement program have any significant impact on the participants?
Yeah. So can we say the null hypothesis that there is no significant difference in the typing speed of the participants before and after? Right? Okay. Okay. What can be the null hypothesis or what can be the alternate hypothesis? Anyone?
Yeah, there is significant difference in the
Yes,
typing speed
there is
of the
significant difference in the
participants.
training speed of the participant before and after the training program, right? So these can be the hypothesis which we have formulated, right? So let us conduct the paired sample t-test, right? Okay. So let me just load the things on the itself. So paired sample t-test typing test. Okay. So in this particular paired sample t-test, what I will say to ChatGPT is, tell me what you have understood about the attached data file and what statistical test I can use to calculate and do the analysis. Okay, so let us see what ChatGPT, because it's intelligent enough, because it's artificial intelligence. Let us see what intelligence it is having and what it will depict us. Now see, it has given some insights about the case IDs, typing speed before training program, typing. So statistical test to use dataset involves two related paired measurements for the same participants, right? So paired t-test is the appropriate test after the training. So analysis plan, it is also showing you analysis plan that first you calculate the mean and the standard deviation of the typing speeds after the training and perform a paired sample, paired t-test to assess whether the difference in the typing speed is statistically different. So report the results including the t-test and p-value and confidence level and the mean difference. So now it is again asking, would you like me to proceed with the analysis? So let us ask it to just go with the analysis. Yes. Now it has given me the results. Now see, this you have to. Okay, fine. Let me just have a look up. T statistics is given. P value is 0.0003. It means it is less than 0.05. So mean before the training is there given, mean before training and a standard deviation before training. Mean after training. See, there is a significant difference in the mean before the training and the after the training. But this significance, we cannot say it like this. The significance can be shown by the p value itself. So you have to report the p value along with, right? Standard deviation after training is given and mean difference is also given. So I cannot report it in this way. What I want it that this paired t-test results should be in tabular form. Okay, so the p-value is less than the standard significance level, indicating that this is the interpretation which is correctly written. Okay, but I want, please provide me with results in tabular format in APA style and reporting in journal ready format. Okay. take too much of time. I'll just put it again. I've asked to regenerate it. It is doing it. Okay, now we have the table, and it has reported all the things as we need to report it. And this is the general ready report. Also, paired sample t-test was conducted. Now see, this is how it is again incomplete. Let it complete first. Okay, again. Okay, so it has generated the APA style table, okay, along with the result if you see, right? So we can directly report. So a paired sample t-test was conducted to assess the impact of the typing training on the typing speed. The analysis revealed a significant improvement in the typing speed after training and along with the mean and the standard deviation compared to the before mean and the standard deviation again with a p-value which is less than 0.01. The mean difference in the typing speed was this is what means this, you can say this is the improvement. This is the improvement. These words are the improvement per minute, right? So these results indicate that the training program was significantly improved the participants' speed. Okay, so this is how we conduct the paired sample t-test also. And though I have one-way ANOVA also, and I was having certain slides for one-way ANOVA, but we do not have time. I have just received a call from the organizer, so we will continue with this one-way ANOVA tomorrow because we need to understand a lot about the one-way ANOVA, and then only we will be able to do along with the hypothesis testing. So this is all from my side for today, but yet, yes, we have more things to do it for tomorrow itself. Yeah, any inputs from your side? Yeah, or anything you would like to say? I hope you have learned a lot regarding the hypothesis testing and all everything.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course, sir. I think
I'm sorry for Raviji. Sorry for taking the extra time again today.
No, sir. Please, sir. Don't
This
be
was
sorry.
something which needs to be,
Yes,
in-depth understanding of the topic has to be there.
Sir, I must say, because you are the only resource person who is doing this thing. I mean, all the resource person are good because we have organized so many events with different resource persons. But you are the only one who extend the time. I mean, I know it's
Sorry for
your
that,
area of interest, sir.
because it's a precious time of
It
your
is your
partner.
greatness, sir. That's why you are, the great academician. So thank you so much for this wonderful session once
Yeah,
again.
any feedback from the participants? I hope you all are enjoying the tests also. Raviji seems to be in hurry today actually.
No, अरे सारा मेरे पे मत डालो सर, सब सोचेंगे. I am not in the hurry. You can continue,
Okay,
sir.
yeah,
There is
and
no problem.
any participants, any feedback or anything you would like to ask more, or you want to study more, or because tomorrow is the last day, right? So one feedback I have already received from I think from one of the participants that they want to study right from the scratch, that how can I generate a paper from means right from the title of a paper, some insights about even you can ask ChatGPT about the research questions which you want to address, right? Which have not been addressed now. Unique ideas can be generated with the help of this particular service. Okay, and on that basis, you can do your further work and you can come up with certain things which have not yet been done. Okay, so thank you so
sir.
much.
The wonderful sessions are going on, sir. Thank you so much once again, sir. It is just because of you, we all are enjoying the sessions. And the questions which you gave me, I will immediately, send them the assignment quiz. They are also enjoying the assignments also. They all are submitting the assignments. I will share the scorecard also, sir, with you.
Yeah, please. That will actually depict that the effectiveness of my, because today we were talking about the t-test. So you can apply, Raviji, you can apply a paired sample t-test before and after the training, but you have not done, I think, the pre-training type of any test, I think, has not been done.
Yes.
Yes, this can be one of the things which
Sir, we will organize so many, so many workshops in future also with you. And you just suggest me the topics of the workshops. So I will, organize. With your blessing, sir, we are doing the work.
The same multivariate workshop can be organized.
I think we have done, sir, multivariate analysis.
No, regarding using the ChatGPT and using the artificial.
Yeah. We have done the SPSS, right.
SPSS I have done many times. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, all of you. And so for the formal vote of thanks, today I would like to invite Mr. Hemant Dhandhare, Assistant Professor, Department of Management, KCECS College of Engineering and Management, Jalgaon. Mr. Hemant.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Thank you for sharing your knowledgeable insight on this topic. I would like to thank you on behalf of KC's College of Engineering and Management, Jalgaon. I heartily thank you, sir. I also would like to thank all the participants for their active participation. And one more thanks to the Inspira Research Organization, who is arranging such seminars and conference to enhance the skills and knowledge. This is like a rope of hope for researchers like us. Ravi sir, I would like to say something. You are inspiring researchers through Inspira for doing valuable contribution in research areas. I would like to thank our HOD ma'am, Miss Harsha Deshmukh, soon to be doctor, Harsha Deshmukh ma'am, for giving me this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hemant.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. So thank you, Dr. Aarti ma'am, and all the participants, and Professor Pahwa sir. Thank you so much, sir. Keep your blessings.
Yes.
So tomorrow is the final day of this FDP.
I would say one thing, Raviji. If some of the participants can share their insights tomorrow as a feedback, means an open feedback, so that I can also improvise one or the other way. So that would be good. So if somebody wants to, say something, so please encourage them to.
Yes, sir. Of course, sir, ma'am. I always encourage them to, to speak something, or to ask to the resource person. They can ask. I've already unmuted them, so they can unmute themselves. They have allowed to unmute. They can ask any question. They can say anything what they want. So there is no problem.
Before we leave, can you ask them to just open their video so that you?
Yes, sir.
What can be?
I think we always at the end we request you to please open the videos. So kindly open the video, because I will share the the screenshots on social media also. So you will also appear. So you will also happy to see yourself to attend. So I think you all should at the end open the videos for the screenshots. Yeah. So sir, again there are 2 windows. So thank you so much. I know today is Sunday.
स्क्रीनशॉट ले लिया सर?
Yes, sir. I will share, sir. I will share the screenshots
एक
of
भी
each
शेयर
day.
नहीं किया, आज 4th डे हो गया और एक भी शेयर नहीं
Sir,
किया।
actually मैं I want कि मैं एक साथ सारे शेयर कर दूं आपको. So I will share all.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you.